Hey, folks, welcome back. It's Pat, that Halloween movie collector, back with another top 10 favorite albums from another year. Now, we're still stuck in the 90s. It's been a couple of weeks since I did 1990. Been really busy. Hope everybody had a great Memorial Day weekend. I had a busy, crazy weekend. Those that'll be watching this will know that. So I figured, look, quick, while I got some time, let me jump back into my top 10 albums and see if we can make it through the 90s. So, 1991. There was a couple of good songs, a couple of really actually landmark albums that came out that are actually on this list. Some other ones, I guess, maybe that are not my particular taste that may not be on here. But like I said, this is my top 10. It's totally subjective, and feel free to throw your top 10 in from 1991. But before we jump into my top 10, of course, there's always honorable mentions. We can only fit so many into a top 10. So let's check out my honorable mentions. As always, some really good honorable mentions. Said this was a year that was a little with me because there's usually a lot more honorable mentions, and this one was there's some good ones on there, but not as many as you would think, because compared to some of my previous videos. So, like I said, music was really starting to change, and some of it was my taste, and some of it wasn't my taste. And you'll see as you go along. I mean, this was the era of grunge, so you'll see a lot of that, even with the appearance of Alice in Chains on my last top 10. So my number 10, released on September 24th of 1991, the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Blood Sugar Sex Magik. Arguably their breakout album, which basically put them on the map. Because they were sort of an underground thing before this, for those that don't know. I mean, Mother's Milk was, to this day, still my favorite album by them. Mother's Milk, the previous album to this. You had the influx of John Frusciante, who came in after Hillel Slovak died tragically, and just changed the sound of their music and basically made it more mainstream. Because if you go back and listen to some of the other stuff like Uplift Mofo Party, his guitar style was more like rhythm and punkish stuff, and it just totally changed it, which I like. It's just different. But this album, forget it. This album blew up with Give It Away Now, Under the Bridge, Suck My Kiss. This album has hit after hit after hit and really brought the name Red Hot Chili Peppers into pop culture. Because before then, like I said, they were kind of an underground thing. I remember a friend of mine bringing one of their CDs over to my house, and I had heard the name, but I didn't really listen to it, and introduced me to it. It was right before Mother's Milk. And I was like, wow, this is really cool stuff. And then Mother's Milk came out, which, like I said, is still my favorite album by them. And I was just blown away and became a fan after that. And they just got better and better as they went along. And hey, 91 was a long time ago. And look how big these guys are. And even made it into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. First year they were on the ballot. Number 9, released on the same day as Blood Sugar Sex Magik, September 24th of 1991. The groundbreaking, the ever popular, and in my honest opinion, and don't throw anything at your screens, completely overrated album, Nirvana, Nevermind. Now, I ran out and bought this too back in the day. You heard Smells Like Teen Spirit, and it was such a departure, and it was a great song. And the songs on here are really good. I'm a old school punk rock guy, so to me, it's like a blend of grunge and punk. And I like the album. It's got a lot of great stuff on it. It Smells Like Teen Spirit and Bloom, Lithium. It's got all the songs you hear 100 different times a day on radio. And it deserves all the accolades because it is a groundbreaking album. It is everything, but believe me, it's not the greatest album. I'm sorry. It is Nirvana. I love them, but they are the most completely overrated band on the planet. So that's why it lands where it lands. Sorry. So I've been saying it for years that I like them, but I just think it's completely overrated. It's fun songs. The next album, In Utero, was actually really good too. I mean, he's got some great stuff, but I just scratch my head over the adoration and where everybody thinks this is like in the top 10 albums ever and top 10 bands ever. I don't get it, but it is what it is. It lands here. It's got some great tunes on here, tunes you hear all the time. They're part of pop culture, and truth be told, I don't think it'd be as popular as it is had he not killed himself. I think it probably they would have fizzled out eventually. So that's just my opinion. Don't throw anything at the screen. I don't hate them. I just think they're a little bit overrated. But great album nonetheless. My number 8, released on September 12th of 1991, the ever present in all of my lists, Ozzy Osbourne with No More Tears. Another groundbreaking album that really blew Ozzy up. You know, he had steady albums, but this one really took him into a different level. I think this album is the one that really made him a little bit more mainstream than he was previously, if that makes any sense. Much like Chili Peppers and Nirvana did, these albums were just part of pop culture at the time, especially because MTV was still relevant at this time. So there was a lot of videos for all these 3 albums I've just talked about, the first 3 from my list here. Yeah, MTV was still relevant before it basically just became like it is now, completely irrelevant, because it doesn't show videos, it just shows reality shows and crap like that, I think, if it's still even around. So this time I had like the big breakout hit, Mama I'm Coming Home, Mr. Tinkertree, No More Tears, and just sounded great. I mean, every album with Zakk Wylde in it is just had that big, thick guitar sound I love, and that vibrato from friggin' hell that Zakk's got. So well produced, well played, well sang, and it's one of Ozzy's better produced albums too. It's not too overproduced, because they produced the shit out of Ozzy's vocals. If you guys don't know that, they overdubbed the hell out of him. And this is one of the ones where his vocals actually shine through pretty well. So another great entry from the Ozman. Or number 7, released on June 11th, 1991. Now, this album was a complete departure compared to their previous album, their debut album. But I love this album, Skid Row, Slave to the Grind. They went full hardcore on this. They just did a complete 180, rather, I should say. And they just got a lot heavier. I mean, the previous album, I love Skid Row's debut. It's one of my favorite albums, and it just blew up back in the day with some of the most well-written songs and well-sang songs from Sebastian. And then they came out with this and said, okay, you know what? We're not a pop band at all. And they came out and they just hit it hard. I mean, right from the get-go with song, the title track, Slave to the Grind, Monkey Business, Quicksand Jesus. Oh, just this album. If you've never heard this album, you're just stuck on the first album, go check this one out. It's a lot heavier. Guitars much better produced, I think, than the first one, because it's got you hear the chunkier guitars a little bit better, and they just went all out on this and just said, screw this, man, we're a hard rock band, I'm going to prove it. Plus I think they were trying to keep with the contemporaries at the time, because the shifting tides of music were getting heavier, as more and more grunge bands were starting to emerge, which you're going to see a few more on this list. My number 6, released on June 12th of 1991. Van Halen, one of my favorite bands ever. Van Halen, For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge, or the short just called Fuck. Great stuff on here. This is another one here that really put them even more into the stratosphere with some big arena hits, like Right Now, which is huge. You still hear it everywhere. But they also had some other cool stuff in here, like Pound Cake, when he was playing that song with the drill, making the weird sounds on his guitar, Standing on Top of the World, Run Around, Pleasure Dome. There's a lot of the Hagar era hits on this album. This album just blew up too, and they were just as big as they ever were. And they managed to ride out the tide of the music changing, because they were still all over the charts with this, so they didn't have anything to worry about. I mean, eventually, the Hagar years are going to fizzle out a little bit after this, and then they went dormant for a while. We know the whole story after that, but this album stands alone as one of their better ones with Hagar too. And it's, like I said, I'm always big with sound. And this album just, I forget, I should look up who produced this, but the production on here is second to none, because I'm always listening to Eddie's sound, being a guitar player. And if it sounds good on the albums, it's just great. And this is another one that was produced where it just sounded so goddamn good. Okay, my number 5, released on August 12th of 91. Don't hit me for it being at number 5, because simply the albums before are more of my favorites, and I listen to them more. But the gargantuan Metallica album, but everybody just calls it the Black Album. Yes, that's why I was saying about certain albums that came out this year that are just basically gargantuan, just huge albums with specific bands that just basically blew them up. I mean, Metallica was big. They didn't need any help, but this made them enormous, because you had people that were not Metallica fans before this that became Metallica fans because of this album. I mean, I could name 10 of my friends that are like, oh, we don't like Metallica, but they love this album because it was much more polished, much more produced. There's Bob Rock, I think, came in for this one. And this one is just like Nirvana, where you hear just all the same songs every day on classic rock radio. You're going to hear Enter Sandman. Nothing Else Matters, The Unforgiven, Wherever I May Roam. I mean, it's just album. Every song in here is, that. Even if you're not a Metallica fan, you know the songs because it's just gargantuan. And I like it. Like I said, now when I do these lists, I've mentioned it before. I try to go back to what I still listen to more than ever from the specific list, but I try to be in the moment of that year and say, okay, what was blowing me away that year? And this was good. I liked Metallica, but I've mentioned before, I was not a Metallica huge fan. I liked them, but just saw the things I liked that came out that year because this was a real transformative year, as you're going to see from the next few. I mean, my number one is going to be, if you've been watching these lists and you know me, it's going to be like, okay, yeah, we knew that would be at the top of your list. So, but stick around and you'll find out. But yeah, Metallica, the Black Album, I mean, you can't deny it. I love it. It's enormous. It's iconic. It is what it is. My number 4, released on August 27th of 1991, another album that was gigantic for this year. Another debut from a huge band that's still around today. Pearl Jam's 10 exploded on the scene. And I fell in love with this album when it came out. I just love the sound. I loved Eddie Vedder's voice. I love the guitar playing on it. I just embraced the shit out of this album and played it to death. And earlier days in playing out in cover bands, I still play out in cover bands, we played a shit ton of stuff from this album, from Jeremy to Black to Alive, Even Flow. There's so many songs on here everybody knows, and this album is another one from start to finish where you know every song, and basically made Pearl Jam a juggernaut of a band. And they're still around to this day putting out stuff. And truth be told, honestly, I checked out a long time ago with Pearl Jam. After the first 2 albums, maybe the third one was okay too. I don't know. I just kind of checked out. I think their style just changed a little bit and it became kind of a snooze fest to me. But the first one, I still love it. Can't deny it. Also have an affection for those guys because they're big Kiss fans. They love Kiss and they make no bones about their love for Kiss. So it's always fun to hear that. So this album, yeah, it's another explosive album from this year. I mean, you could just do a list of explosive albums. I mean, most of them that are on this list are just gargantuan albums that came out in 91. I didn't even realize that until I started researching this. And this is one of them. And now the next few are going to be kind of a mix of certain people and members mixing all together. And number 3, released on April 16th of 1991. Love this album. Temple of the Dog. Just simply Temple of the Dog, which is a melting pot of Pearl Jam and Soundgarden folks. And this album is just, God, this album came out and me and my friends just fell in love with it. I know they toured a couple of years ago, before the tragic passing of Chris Cornell, and I didn't go. I could kick myself in the ass because I love this album. I don't know why I didn't go. I should have really made the effort to go, but there's so much great stuff on here. I mean, Hunger Strike was probably the biggest song, with Eddie Vedder on the vocals, well, harmonizing too with Chris Cornell. But there's so much other stuff on here, like Reach Down, Say Hello to Heaven, Pushing Forward Back, Full World. I mean, this album is so good. If you've never listened to this album, go listen to it. You'll be mesmerized. I mean, Chris Cornell, God, I miss that guy. That was one of my favorite singers ever, one of my favorite bands ever. And to this day, just kills me that he's not around anymore. And this album was just great. The production on this, the guitar, and his vocals, just amazing. And I know they're finally going into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He's finally going in with Soundgarden. Shout out to Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Always wait till somebody dies, you fucking pricks, before you put them in. Well, let me see. Musical Excellence Award maybe at some point for Rick Derringer now that he fucking died, you stupid assholes. Sorry, rant over. Yeah, they just tend to wait till people die and put them in. So, yeah, rant over. But I love this album. If you've never heard Temple of the Dog, go check it out. You'll be glad you did. And number 2, released on October 8th of 1991. Speaking of Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees this year, Soundgarden and Bad Motorfinger. Speaking of the late, great Chris Cornell, this album is amazing. There's so much good stuff on here. If you've never heard it, why are you not listening to this goddamn album? This is made... I mean, I heard Soundgarden before, Louder Than Love, Ultra Mega OK. I liked it. But this album they just got it right. Really right. I mean, and going forward, it just got better and better. They were one of the few bands I remember seeing this at the time. and I'll say it now, they were one of the bands that were just getting better and better with every album. And this was the album that really gave them a jump start. Outshined, Rusty Cage, Slaves and Bulldozers. His voice and his songwriting, Chris Cornell, was just a second to none. I always said, I'm a guitar player. I said I would trade my guitar playing skills, my left nut, my first 2 born children to be able to sing like that guy. I mean, what a vocal range, and he could just write some amazing songs. I mean, Holy Water, Jesus Christ, Pose. There's so many great songs on here. And go get this. There's I don't know what they call it's called Psalms. It's a version of it on disc that has an extra disc of this album, and it's got some great stuff on it. It's got A Girl You Want, a cover from Devo is on there. They do a cover of I should have brought it out. A cover of Into the Void from Black Sabbath with completely different lyrics, which is really cool. So if you don't have the Bad Motorfinger disc, look up Bad Motorfinger Psalms. I think it's SOMMS. And they have it's an extra disc with those extra songs on it, and it's worth the extra money. And the funny thing is, I bought the disc at the time because I had Bad Motorfinger when it came out, just a regular version, and somebody borrowed it. I forget who borrowed it, and sometimes I just never got some of these CDs I lent to people and just never got them back. That was one of them. So I remember I went out and I picked up another one, and I was wondering why it was a little bit more money, but I was like, whatever. I picked it up. Then I opened it up. I'm like, why has it got an extra disc? And it's got those extra songs on it. So if you haven't bought it and you're looking for it, go get the extra one with extra disc. And my number one, released on November 5th of 91. No small surprise here, and it's the last time we're going to see him at the top of the list, and it breaks my heart. Stevie Ray Vaughan, The Sky is Crying. Released just over a year after his tragic death in 1990 in a helicopter crash. So they culled a bunch of unreleased songs that he had done with Double Trouble and put together an album, and you scratch your head saying, why weren't these songs released? Why did you wait till he died? But I guess this, can only put so much on an album because this album is amazing. From the title track, Sky is Crying, Empty Arms, Close to You, and he won a posthumous Grammy for his version of Jimi Hendrix's Little Wing. And if you've never heard it, I've mentioned this before, and I love Jimi Hendrix, and no slight on Jimi Hendrix, but man, it's tough to play Hendrix better than Hendrix, and he did. I'm sorry. His Voodoo Child was fantastic, and this is second to none. Got him a Grammy, posthumous Grammy. And it's just sad that this is the last new material we got from him after he passed. And it's just one of my favorite albums to this day. Just listen to it all the time. I can't get enough of it. I preached on a lot of these videos my love for Stevie Ray Vaughan and how much he changed my guitar playing. And shout out to my friends who came to see me this weekend. I told you, I had about four Stevie Ray Vaughan songs in the set. So, but this is it. This is the last time you're going to see him on the list. So now you can watch and see what's going to make number one in the future. It's not going to be Stevie Ray, unfortunately. So that's my top 10 from 1991. My favorite 10 albums of 1991, along with some honorable mentions as well. So do me a favor. Throw your top 10 in the list below. Even throw some honorable mentions in there. Just say, hey, these that make my top 10, but maybe some of mine were your honorable mentions and some of my honorable mentions were in your top 10. Throw it all in the chat. I like to read all that shit and see where it goes from here. And while you're doing it, do me a favor, hit the like button. It does help people find this channel, get some more crazy people like myself and yourself, if you're watching this, to watch these rankings. And I love doing these. Like I said, it's going to get harder and harder as we get to the 2000s because music kind of sucks now. Sorry, I'm an old fart. And I've gotten to that point where music really just sucks ass these days. So, and if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button and notifications. You'll get notified of any of the lists, any live things I do on the channel, and all that fun shit. So, like I said, like, comment, subscribe, all that bullshit. And I'll be back with 1992. Probably maybe a week or so. I think now that the holiday's over, I'll probably have a little bit more extra time. And I'll have it out sooner than later. So until then, talk to you soon.